Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel. My name is Layla and I'm going to be walking you through my October TBR. Being that it's October means that it is spooky season, so a lot of people are bringing back those reads that they put off until fall, or maybe they're doing cozy reads. I think I'm going to be doing a little bit of a blend of both. I do want to disclose that this will not be my full October TBR. I do plan on doing my typical 24-hour paranormal romance readathon in October. I do have an announcements post going up on my blog, so look out for that during Blogtober. In there, I will have all of the books that I hope to read during that 24-hour period. Now that I kind of walked you through that announcement, I want to start going into the books that I plan to read in October. And I'm going to start with my reread for the month, and I am actually going to try and reread Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I loved this book when I read it way back in March, I believe. Right after it came out, I devoured it in a couple of days. I wasn't able to make it through all the way in one sitting, but I do hope to do that this time. I know she has said in one of the interviews that I watched that she does hope that people read this all in one sitting, so I'm going to try and do that. Gallant has to deal with Olivia Pryor, who is at the moment, at the beginning of this story, she is in a house full of other girls, and she has the ability to kind of see ghosts, which makes it a little bit challenging for her. So the book ends up dealing with a lot of themes around death and the boundary between life and death. When her uncle's letter reaches the school, she is sent off to Gallant, which is the estate from her uncle, to kind of pick up where their family's destiny kind of left off. She ends up finding out about her mother and her father throughout the process, and kind of gets to learn more about her family and her family's destiny while also dealing with that boundary between life and death. It's a really good read. I gave it 5 stars the first time. I'm anticipating it being another 5-star read again. If you haven't picked this one up, I definitely recommend doing so. It was my favorite book of March, and it's still holding out very close to the top of my favorites this year. A book that's making a resurgence on my TBR is Book of Night by Holly Black. I still haven't picked this one up yet. I know a lot of other people have been giving it a little bit of mixed reviews, but I've been trying to ignore them because I do want to go into this making my own opinion. I do have the Owl Crate and Barnes & Noble edition. This is my Owl Crate edition with the shiny cover. I do hope to read my Barnes & Noble because I do want to annotate it. This book is about Charlie, who is originally a thief, but is now a bartender, and some things from her past start coming up, and she does have to try and navigate that. According to the synopsis that I saw, it looks like there's a little bit of magic, so I'm not sure what else this book is about. I'm trying to keep it that way, like I usually do, just so that I can go in pretty blind. Same thing with reviews. I'm trying to avoid them as much as possible, so I don't let that color my opinion, but I do look forward to this. I just saw her at National Book Festival again, so I can't wait to read this. And yet another resurgence from a past TBR, I don't think from my channel, but from earlier this year, is For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. This is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, and it has been on my TBR for a while. It was on my 12 books that I already own that I want to read list from the beginning of the year. I still haven't gotten to it yet. I figured October was the perfect time to do that, so I am looking forward to getting to this sometime this month. One of my most anticipated reads this year was Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and that came in the Fairy Loot box for September. Belladonna was one of my most anticipated reads this year. It's about a girl who is actually also an orphan. So there's a theme going on here, who is basically... The book is about an orphan girl who ends up finding out that her mother was murdered, so she has to team up with another character to try and solve that. That's kind of like the one-sentence synopsis for this. I don't want to go in knowing too much because it sounds very exciting as is, and I do want to really take the time to enjoy this book. I can't wait to read it. I have read All My Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I'm not a huge Set at Sea person, so I am looking forward to reading this because I liked her writing style and I want to see what she does in this new adventure. Rounding out my October TBR is actually the Sinister Sisters book club pick for September and October, and that is Babel by Rf Quang. I know next to nothing about this book aside from the fact that it was on my most anticipated releases, just because I had heard so many good things about the Poppy War, which I still haven't picked up, which is also on one of my list of books that I already own that I wanted to get to this year. But Bree and I were talking and she kind of wanted to pick this up, and we agreed because it was so thick that we would do it between September and October. If you follow our book club, you know that Jen and I have a tendency not to pick these up until very close to when we're about to talk about them, which means I, of course, have not started it yet. I managed to break it up into my annotation system, and that's as far as I got. And the only reason for that is because I did try and prioritize my Mythathon TBR. So this ended up just not getting picked up at all during the month of September. So obviously I have to finish it during the month of October. I know next to nothing about this, as I mentioned earlier. The only thing I really know about this is it has to do with languages. It is a historical fantasy novel, so it has a little bit of magic in it too. Other than that, I don't know too much, but I am looking forward to pick it up because I know Kwang's writing is stellar. So looking forward to trying this one out. So that's it for my October TBR. I am trying to keep it a little bit light in the sense of the number of books that I'm reading, just because I do have the paranormal romance readathon coming up at the very beginning of October, so my book load will be a little bit higher there, and I'm also not sure how much reading I'm going to be able to get done this month, just because I don't know what my schedule is going to start looking like. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you've read one of the books, just let me know in the comments if you really enjoyed it or what your thoughts were. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye!